Welcome back to the part of the tournament that requires very little explanation. There are 16 teams left in the elimination phase. We need 15 matches to get down to one winner. Our tournament shaped up a little different than the real one. We have 6 teams in common with what really happened in 2014. Bosnia and Herzegovina did not proceed. In fact, they scored on themselves in the first 3 minutes of their first World Cup match ever. At this point in the tournament, it's all about bringing your game to the moment, which means you show up, you've got one item or factoid from your country, you see how it stacks up, and we move on. This means it's rapid fire, and to prevail over this, we bring in the Whitener. Sean Whitener, a man of cunning, grace, and intellect, to be our referee as we motor on through these 15 matches to proceed to our winner. Who is it? Stick around and find out. So here we are, 16 teams, 15 games, 1 team left standing. And to make things easier, we've color-coded it. In the green sectional, we have Croatia versus Chile. For Croatia, a 57-year-old grandmother single-handedly captured a tank during the Croatian War of Independence by banging on it and scaring away the crew. For Chile, the manager of the Chilean Mint was fired in 2009 for issuing coins that spelled it C-H-I-I-E. To Sean.
Saving Private Ryan with a 57-year-old grandmother instead of Matt Damon, that's box office gold. Croatia.
Also in the green sectional, it's Greece versus Italy. For Greece, in ancient Athens, the primary method for selecting public officials wasn't election but sortition, or random drawing. For Italy, the Vatican is so small, embassies to it are on Italian soil, including Italy's embassy, the only embassy to be found in its home country. Sean.
That's campaign reform I can get behind. As Beyonce would say, Greece, roll up the sortition, please.
Opening the yellow sectional, we have Honduras versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. For Honduras, there are so many murders in Honduras, 1 every 74 minutes, that some cities offer free funerals. And in 2007, a 45-year-old Bosnian man faked his own death to see who came to his funeral. Only his mother showed up. To Sean.
In a showdown of the morbidly depressing, go with the profound over the existential. Honduras.
Also, we have the United States versus Russia. For the U.S., in 1969, 24 authors combined to poorly write the adult novel Naked Came the Stranger to lampoon the state of modern fiction, but then it went bestseller. And for Russia, Soviet-era prison guards weren't allowed to shoot at images of their leaders, so prisoners often got tattoos of Stalin or Lenin. Sean.
As H.L. Mencken said, no one ever went home with their kneecaps unbroken, underestimating the ingenuity of Russian criminals. Russia.
Our blue sectional opens with Netherlands, Cameroon. For Netherlands, to avoid Japanese detection during World War II, the Dutch ship Abraham Kriensen was disguised as a small island. It worked. For Cameroon, in 1931, Cameroon took a collection for Americans hit by the Great Depression. The total, $3.77. Sean.
Netherlands, but I have to know, was there a polar bear on the ship?
Also in blue, England versus Japan. For England, Carl Bushby is still walking home from Chile to Hull across Russia. He's been walking since 1998. For Japan, Japan is the home of the shishito pepper. Only 1 in 10 is spicy, and there's no way of telling before you taste it. Sean.
As a frequent traveler, Mr. Bushby has my sympathies. England.
Our red sectional opens with Nigeria, Ecuador. For Nigeria, Paul McCartney was bored with recording in the UK, so he recorded Band on the Run in Lagos, Nigeria. For Ecuador, in 1967, a foot powder manufacturer started a Vote for Our Product style ad campaign. The foot powder was elected mayor. Sean.
I don't think that Lennon would have gone so literal. Nevertheless, Nigeria.
Closing out the round of 16, it's South Korea, Germany. For South Korea, South Korean males who win Olympic medals are excused from the country's mandatory 2-year military service. For Germany, Coca-Cola couldn't beat the trade embargo into Nazi Germany during World War II, so the Germans made a new drink from the ingredients they had. We know it as Fanta. Sean.
Nothing like a Fanta to wash down some freedom fries. Germany.
So let's come back here, update our results, and move on to the quarterfinals. Our first quarterfinal is Croatia versus Greece. For Croatia, Zagreb houses a museum of broken relationships. For Greece, In 1920, King Alexander of Greece was killed by monkey bites. Sean.
This sounds like two tales of love gone awry. Advantage, Greece.
Our second quarterfinal is Honduras-Russia. For Honduras, in 1937, Nicaragua and Honduras almost went to war over how their border was illustrated on a Nicaraguan stamp. For Russia, in the Russian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the audience misled the contestants so often they discontinued the Ask the Audience feature. Sean.
Russia. In my mind, those audience members are all flexing their Stalin tattoos.
Our third quarterfinal is Netherlands-England. The Netherlands has sent Canada 10,000 tulips every year since World War II as a thank you for liberating them from the Nazis and sheltering their newborn princess. For England, Admiral Nelson's body was brought back to England in a coffin made from the mast of the Orient, a French ship he had sunk. Sean.
Consider my timbers shivered. England.
Our final quarterfinal is Nigeria-Germany. Nigeria is the home of Chrislam, a combined faith created to curb sectarian violence. And some German nursing homes have fake bus stops in front of them to keep senior citizens from wandering off. Sean.
Nigeria. But watch out for the People's Front of Islamity.
Let's update our bracket and move into our final four. Semifinal number 1, Greece-Russia. In Greece, Charlton Heston is called Charlton Easton because to Heston is to soil your pants. For Russia, a volcano erupted in Peru in 1600 and caused 3 years of famine and volcanic winter in Russia. Sean?
More problems with imports and exports? I've got to give my sympathy to Russia.
Our second semifinal, England-Nigeria. 1 out of 4 British households contributes to a prize-linked retirement account where instead of interest, you're repeatedly entered into a tax-free lottery. And more people speak English in Nigeria than in the UK, which is fitting because more Guinness is sold in Nigeria than in the UK. Sean.
Nigeria. I have to assume they have a bigger Ben.
It's been a long and winding road, but here we are with Russia and Nigeria. For Russia, in the final. Released in 2001, the video game Ghost Recon took place during a Russian invasion of Georgia in 2008, which later happened. For Nigeria. Nigeria has 522 different languages in use. The final verdict from Sean.
Nigeria. A real marvel of diversity. All these subcultures, each with a prince who will bestow a fortune upon you, if only you'll send him a few $1,000s.
And that's it. After all this madness, it's Nigeria. Nigeria. Can I repeat it again? Nigeria is the most fascinating competitor in the World Cup in 2014. So thank you for hanging with us until here, whether it was the island full of snakes, or how to insult somebody in Greece with your hand, whether it was how to waltz Matilda, or learn how to mangle your words properly in England. Maybe you just like Krampus. Whatever the reason, we appreciate you sticking with us to the end. And so does Nigeria. Come on back in 4 years.